All right, guys, what's up? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. And XDefiant Season 1 is right around the corner. And in this XDefiant Insider I forget what the hell they called it. But anyway, they didn't really reveal too much new from what we already knew from what we were told. So it just makes a lot more sense just to break down the patch notes of what we're going to get in literally hours from now as of the time of this recording. So without further ado, let's get into the patch notes. And I'm also going to be giving little brief thoughts on every single one of them. So it starts with gameplay, and it says the first one is it changed the expiration timing of activated boosters, so their lifespan counts down from only during match time when you're actually playing, rather than all the time, like when you're folding laundry or whatever. So that is really good. Next one is they lowered the XP threshold for each Battle Pass tier. They give Battle Pass progression a little bit more pep. So that's good. Battle Pass isn't going to be insane like it was before, so that's good. I'm glad that they changed that up. And it actually says a lot about them in general as far as morality is concerned, because as you guys know, Battle Pass is part of the monetization, and since it is a free-to-play game, and even though there are games out there that are not free-to-play that still have Battle Passes, they purposely make it a really grindful event, you know, to grind the Battle Pass for why reasons. So the fact that they're not actually going in that direction, making it more grind friendly, is really a really good thing for your average player, because the average player, we do have to pay attention to them or not. It's not just about us players that put in a whole bunch of time. So let's go on to the next one. They turned match bonus XP rewards. MVP and victory went from 2,000 to 1,000 XP. Draw went from 1,000 to 500, and completion doubled from 2,000 to 4,000 to encourage players stick to itiveness. Stick to itiveness. Okay. All right. Next one up. Answered a community asked to add a headshot icon in the kill feed because it feels good to rub it in. This is actually really good. Next up, added the GSK faction. Now these are factions, by the way. Added the GSK faction to their no nonsense announcer HQ. These elite team rainbow operators from Germany's Border Protection Command specialize in crowd control and securing territory. They can deploy electrified barbed wire for area denial, counter incoming enemy devices with their active defense system, and dazzle multiple foes with flash charges mounted on their G52 Tactical Shield Ultra. Call them, I don't know how to say that, Grenshkusko Commando, because it's fun and also accurate, okay? Next, increase the cooldown of Echelon's intel suit from 30 to 40 seconds, so that's a nerf. But I highly doubt this is going to make any difference, really. 10 seconds? I mean, come on, dude. All right, let's move on. Tune the cooldown of Phantom's mag barrier for 30 to 40 seconds. Again, same thing. Oh, one more thing. Mag barrier hit points were also reduced from 500 to 400. So it is what it is. The Phantom's Aegis will now take damage from EMP grenades. Lob 6 in to put it out of its commission. So that's good. Dead Seg's hijack cooldown decreased from 28 seconds plus the remaining duration of the hack skill to 20 seconds plus the remaining duration of the hack skill. So that's good. So they give you an example. For example, let's say mag barrier has 7 seconds left to get hacked. The cooldown becomes 20 plus 7 seconds. Failed hijack cooldown, meanwhile, decreased from 8 to 5 seconds. That's a little bit of a buff to the hijack, so that's good as far as DeadSec is concerned. Next up, DeadSec Spiderbot cooldown increased from 25 to 40 seconds. Again, not too much of a difference. It is 15 seconds, but I still think they're going to be annoying. But I guess what they're trying to do here is they're trying to make the more annoying factions, or should I say, ones that are a little bit too overpowered or whatnot. Like they're nerfing them without nerfing them, so to speak, right? They're just delaying with adding the minimal amount of delay and without changing how they work or any limitations whatsoever. All right, moving on to the next one. Adjusted Spiderbot behavior to multiple. So multiple Spiderbots won't attempt to hug the same face, nor will Spiderbots continue to ignore faces they've hugged multiple recent times. Some give and take from the Spiderbot kingdom. Okay, it's going to be very interesting to see how that works. So if the majority of the players basically start to say that Spiderbot isn't as annoying anymore, then that is good. All right, moved on. But to me, I'm not going to say it kind of feels like a step forward and at the same time a step back, but we'll see, I guess, over time. The next one, decreased the cooldown of Libertad's BioVita boost from 25 to 20 seconds. So that's a little bit of a buff, but again, not much of a difference. I mean, in my opinion, the BioVita boost is like, not powerful enough, in my opinion. I think the cooldown needs to be like maybe 10 seconds or so, maybe even less than that, because all you're doing is regenerating your health really quickly. It's not as something nearly as powerful as a freaking wall hack, for you and your team. You know what I mean? So I think they need to, in order to make this even more effective, they need to decrease that time even more, in my opinion. All right, Mick, going to the next one. Fix Libertad's Medico Supremo so it will no longer disappear after deploying. Player respawns as a different faction. Okay, so that's good. All right, moving on to maps. Added the new Clubhouse map, a 2-story hangout popular with the international operators, ideal for firefights in the short to mid-range. Home to game modes, Domination, Occupy, Hot Shot, and the new Capture the Flag. All right, I'm scrolling down here. Game modes added Capture the Flag, hereafter referred to as CTF for the uninitiated. You take the enemy flag to their base and bring it back to your own while protecting the team's flag. CTF is available in a variety of maps. Weapons improve the hit flinch penalty incurred when being shot with a sniper rifle equipped. These changes are intended to refine the behavior of the hit flinch, prevent instances where the camera move off the target with the first hit and back onto the target with the second. I see. Okay, so that makes sense. And improve the experience for players sensitive to wild camera movements. Here's the nitty-gritty. Number 1, the speed of the hit flinch camera transition has been increased by 25%. Number 2, the camera will now always kick upward rather than up and down at random. And number 3, the amount of camera will kick left or right has increased by 3 times. Okay, so this is basically a sniper nerf. They basically kind of refined the bit of the nerf. Well, it's a nerf in terms of flinch. So hopefully this will make things a little bit more balanced. And again, only time will tell. Next up, added the L115 sniper rifle, which is not quite as heavy as the TAC-50 and has a faster handling, although it deals slightly less damage and is not as effective as for penetrating cover. So it's in between the 2 sniper rifles that we have now. So that actually makes sense when you look at it from a development standpoint. Next up, added the LVOA or Lavoa C, a snazzy customized rifle similar to the M4A1. It has much faster rate of fire than the M4A1, but with that comes more recoil and less range. Slightly longer reload and equip times. I don't know how I feel about that because the M4A1 is already weak sauce as it is. Now, obviously, the faster fire rate would make it more powerful, sure, but at the same time, you got less range. So maybe if you put an attachment that'll give this weapon more range, and then kind of, customize it that way, it might make it better, but only time will tell. We will see. Let's see. Added off the sawed-off secondary weapon. This close-range version of the double-barreled shotguns packs a big boom for its size. Imagine carrying a primary weapon in your secondary slot, and that's this. Okay. Next up, added new mastery skins. Titanium Violet unlocked at weapon level 300. Titanium Azure unlocked at level 350, and Titanium Prisma unlocked at 400. Prisma, by the way, is the one that changes colors, so that's really cool. Yeah, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. I haven't even equipped all my regular camos, but we'll see. All right, next up, fixed weapons and optics shake in first-person view while using ADS. This is a good thing because there's definitely a few weapons to where there's some optic shake going on whenever you have optics on, so that's good. You don't want that crap. All right, next up, devices. Added a new and improved visual effect for the flash grenade, replacing the previous effect, which was intense. The new effect is less retina searing, but will still appropriately disorienting. Next up, removed an exploit where players could respawn with multiple devices after fiddling with the copy loadout option in the lobby. So nice try. All right, next up, social. Added the creator code program, which allows players to choose a creator to receive commissions from their XC coin purchases at no additional cost. Choose support a creator from the store to see a list of eligible creators. Players were able to create a party with enemy players and voice chat during matches. Okay. Despite being on opposing teams, which seemed shady, so that's fixed. Okay. Next up, disabled whispers in text chat. Ha! Yeah, I wonder why they did that. All right. Next up, audio. Tweak the mix of the in-game voices and sound effects for volume and clarity. And then miscellaneous players who participated in the closed beta were supposed to keep Kersey's dungaree skin. They didn't, but now they do. Next, fix challenge tracking issues with Ubisoft Connect. Next, graphical and audio fixes, various, and finally, additional crash fixes. So that is pretty much it in all the gist of it. So before closing here, I just want to give a few final thoughts. And the big thing that I'm kind of bummed out about, I'm not going to beat around the bush on this one, is prestige. Prestige is so far not a thing in this game, and it really needs to be. And I think it really needs to be maybe perhaps moved up on the list, in my opinion, because players, I mean, again, not every player is going to be like me, for example, right? And I'm a person that wants prestige, right? Personally, because I just love it. But at the end of the day, you're just still playing the same game. You're still leveling up. It's just a different way of telling you that you're leveling up, so to speak. So it kind of helps with the dopamine effect, so to speak, right? But at the same time, it makes it feel very rewarding. You know what I mean? And I play the game a lot, obviously, but the thing is, for players out there, a lot of players, whether they're beginners or not, they constantly need to feel like they're progressing in something, and prestige is just a thing to do that. And in my opinion, unless they're doing something that, I mean, they mentioned prestige, right, in terms of that it's coming in season 1. But with that being said, like, the fact that they didn't go into any details at all kind of has me worried a little bit. I mean, I know ranked and competitive was pushed to the forefront. And by the way, we're getting that the next day. We're getting that, I believe, on Wednesday. So it's not going to be something that's going to take place a week later. They've pushed it on short notice to happen a day later, right after the first of season 1. So that's good. It's literally the next day. Hopefully they'll start to work on prestige after that, because in my opinion, it should be something that's fairly simple. I mean, it's all just mathematical, and then you give people emblems, but who knows? Maybe they might be adding a twist to it that's making it a little bit more complicated and therefore more rewarding, and as well as challenges to kind of support a system like that. But for me personally, I mean, the fact that prestige wasn't really talked about all that much, other than the fact that it's coming, was kind of disappointing. I'm not going to lie. Obviously, a new map and new game modes is great for the game, but at the same time, remember, there's got to be additional things other than just mastery camos to help keep players engaged, right? Like some additional challenges and stuff like that, as well as, and not just the battle pass, but also, again, like I said, the prestige system. So I'm really curious as to what they're doing with it, because I have a feeling that it may be a little bit different, familiar, but yet different than what we're getting. But other than that, I mean, obviously there's other content creators out there that are, definitely happy about season 1 and stuff like that. They probably like the game modes. They probably like the fact that there's new weapons and new mastery camos and stuff like that. But for me personally, this was, it was pretty good, but it's not like anything that for me that would make me go, holy crap, you know what I mean? But that's just me as a player. That's not me dogging on the game or anything like that. But for me as a player, personally, I would, prestige, I think, was something that needed to be top priority, just like everything else that was released in this particular season. But with that being said, I think it's going to come in rather soon. And of course, I am looking forward to the more game modes. I know we're getting bomb. We know that search and destroy is coming. They still don't have a date for it yet, but I think it's going to be in season 1. Capture the flag has been added, but at the same time, both of those game modes, even though bomb, aka search and destroy, is even popular as far as the casual side goes, I'm really looking forward to additional game modes that they'll come up with, such as maybe a bare bones or an arena 24/7 playlist, or something of that matter. Some of you guys have been very vocal on this channel here in the comment section that are basically asking for party modes, and I think that is something that they could definitely do. I mean, imagine something like a twist on Sticks and Stones or a One in the Chamber. You know what I mean? I think that would be pretty badass if they did that. I mean, hell, we already kind of have that if you think about it, to where it's, you get your One in the Chamber as the Echelon's Ultra, so to speak, but you have unlimited amount of ammo for the time being until it runs out or whatnot. But yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun if they added, One in the Chamber or something like that, or their version of Gun Game or something like that. And again, I want XDefiant to be its own thing, so I don't want it to be a cut and paste. But that's what a lot of the players are actually requesting. So I don't see why they can't do it. So I would say this was an average, season reveal, so to speak. And I have no doubt that the season will continue to get better as time goes on because of the development team that we have. Because they've been nothing but true blue. They've been nothing but transparent and communicating, and they've done, amazing things in such a short amount of time. So, and again, I think they will continue to do so, especially when it comes to, certain things that are coming in the future. So, but with that being said, I want to know, in your opinion, what is, did this season 1 reveal hit home for you? Were you expecting more? Were you expecting less? I mean, again, for me, a couple of the other disappointments other than Prestige was the fact that I think they could have done a little bit better in terms of nerfing, things like the Spider Bot, the Echelon. But again, with these couple of nerfs that I've already mentioned here, it could be the sweet spot. They might not be as annoying anymore, and it could be just fine. But again, you guys in the comment section have suggested to where they should limit either the usage of how it's used, or like limit to where you can have up to 2 at the most per faction. But at the same time, there's a decent amount of players that would disagree because they love they love using a specific type of faction for a specific type of game mode, because it is pubs. So therefore in pubs it shouldn't matter, but in ranked it should, which is another conversation when it comes to ranked, because rumor has it, or word has it, that they're not going to do any limitations as to how many of each faction you can have on each team, which I personally don't know how that's going to work. I think the pro players and the competitive players are going to either gentlemen's agree something, or what they'll do is they'll just naturally, pick factions that will, that will, counter another faction, so to speak. It's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. But anyway, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. Let me know what you think. Did this hit home for you? Was it slightly disappointed? Was it meh? Let me know, because for me, it was kind of mid. It wasn't anything groundbreaking or anything like that. I am excited for season 1, but I'm excited for what's to come in the weeks after season 1, because I do believe that there's going to be a lot of progression happening between season 1 up to season 2. But with that being said, guys, I'd like to know everything down below of what your opinions are. And as always, I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time to watch and or listen. Hope you enjoy season 1. I'm looking forward to playing it starting on Wednesday, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.